Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Wow, that's pretty loud.
Yep.
Well, welcome everyone. I hope you guys are as excited as we are. We've been working on this project for a while, the AMI system. We're going to go into the ins and outs of the AMI. We're going to talk about some stuff, kind of go through the process of everything, and then end up with questions. So if you guys have any questions, if you don't mind waiting to the end, and then we will answer them as best we can. I'm going to just introduce you. Let me start. If you do have a question, when we come to that time, you'll come up and you'll use the microphone so we can get it. We're going to be live streaming. So hi everyone out there in the virtual world. We're excited to have everyone here, and also you out there in the internet. So I'm going to introduce a few people. I'm Jacob Parsons. I'm the water manager here at Garden Ridge. We also have Mr. Mueller. He's a water commissioner. We also have Chair Valdez. He's the water chair. And we also have Josh Bennett. I apologize. Josh Bennett, who is with Secure Vision, and he'll be here to help walk us through and answer all the questions that we don't know yet. We have been looking at this system for about a year now. And with this system, we've asked a lot of questions, and it's from the standpoint of, where are we and where we're going to go, and how do we get there. And so we're going to take you through the journey. All right. So here's the overview. We're going to do some background reasons for exploring these options. What we analyzed, the cost of maintaining the AMR system that we had, or that we currently still have, and then the benefits and the shortfalls of that system. And then we'll get into the AMI infrastructure, the AMI system, what it is, the benefits, the health concerns that people may have, cybersecurity concerns that people may have, and then we'll go through the customer portal. And then we'll talk about that discussion. Background. An AMR system is an automatic reading system. And we had these installed about 2013-14 time frame. And a lot of the infrastructure, when it was upgraded, we went ahead and put those meters in. They used what they call an R radio. It's an M520R radio. And we knew at the time that they were going to be obsolete, but it was a cheaper route to go at the time. And so that decision was made. When the census rolled out their new M2 radios, and as soon as they did that, they stopped supporting those R radios. So that is one of the concerns, or one of the reasons why we looked at this. So we explored with the obsolescence, with the system becoming obsolete. So what that did is not only was the radios no longer serviceable, they wouldn't sell us any of those radios, they would repair those radios. And not only that, but the hardware that we had that would read those meters was no longer repairable. We could buy a new one at about $30,000, or but they would never repair it. So we were starting to see that there was a dilemma happening. We also had about 40 meters that we could no longer read by driving by and collecting that data. And what we decided we would just continue to use the system and then look at alternatives, what else we could look at doing. And we were replacing an average of 2 water meters per month due to blank or backwards readings. What we analyzed the size of the meters based on demand use, the AMI system vulnerability, benefits of the customer portal, time and money spent with our current system, cost of an AMI versus an AMI system, and the best fit for Garden Ridge. So I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about these in more detail. So the cost to maintain the system. So the system we had was to purchase the collector at $30,000. If it went bad, we would have to automatically do that, or we'd have to read our almost 1,700 meters by hand. We do not have the staff for that. We'd also have to replace every MXU or the radio that is attached to the meter to the tune of $250,000, which would give us a total of $280,000. Sorry, what did I say? $250,000 to give us a subtotal of $280,000. So we're like, that's a lot of money. But what are our options? So the benefits of an AMR system. An AMR system is better than the old way. Let me take you back. The old way is you read by hand. You go up to each house, you pop open the lid, you look at the number, make sure the serial number matches, and you write it down. Every single one, every single month. And then it got to the point where you could do handheld, where you drive up, you go, and you go, boop, and it automatically takes that reading on the handheld, and you just keep doing it all the way down, so it was a lot faster. Then along came the AMR system. The AMR system had an antenna on top, and you would drive by, and it would collect the data as you drove by. So the shortfalls of the AMR system was that even though you could drive by and you could collect that data and read and have those readings, you would collect them. And it was far superior than what the previous technology was, but it still had some shortfalls. The shortfalls are, if you drove by and you missed it or wasn't able to pick it up, you didn't necessarily know until you got back to the shop. You put in all the information, and then you find out what was left, and then you had to go back out and collect that data. We're currently doing that now. In fact, we did that today. We also found that with an AMR system, we had to manually read the ones that, not only do we have to manually read the ones that weren't reading because the radio system wasn't sending that signal, we also had to manually read the ones that we were unable to collect based on the radio being obsolete. So the laptop readings, those are the readings you get if you had a leak. The laptop reading, we get about 30 days worth of data. After that 30 days, we were unable to get that data. So if you had a leak, you usually knew once you got your bill, right? You got your bill, and man, that's a lot of money. What happened? You know, that's a lot of water use. What happened? And you go back and say, oh, I had a leak. Well, we go back and find out that data. So that's another shortfall. All right. So the advanced meter infrastructure is what an AMI is. So it's an integrated system, and it communicates from the network, and it goes back and forth with data. It usually sends out data, and we just collect it with a universal antenna that just collects that data. The benefits of an AMR is we can readily, instantly set up a regular schedule, so no longer do we have to take readings or adjust the reading of the month based on holidays or weekends. It kind of does away with that. Our hourly readings will be logged and saved for the history of your time here at the City of Garden Ridge. So if you stay your whole life, it'll continue to collect all that data for the whole time that you're here. And when you leave and a new customer comes in, if someone leaves and a new customer comes in, we can automatically read that meter and close that account and start a new account without having to go out and do all the legwork of sending a man out there to do that. We can get reports that shows if there's water that's leaking, alarms if you have a leak or a burst, or if someone was tampering with something, we'll get an alarm and let us know so we can go out and investigate those things. So customers can be notified if there's a loss of service or a boil water notice at the touch of a button. So what we have is we have a map, and it'll have all the meters on there, and if there's a section where the water's going to be out for a while, we can draw a circle around it, and all those customers that are in that circle will get notified instantly via email, and there's options to do text and a phone call. So it'll be easier to get data out and information out to customers. So also, if there is a meter that isn't being read, we can find out what's going on and get that repaired quickly. All right, next up, we're going to have the radio health concerns. We're going to bring up Mr. Mueller to speak about these couple nice things.
Thank you, Mr. Parsons. As you said, I'm Jim Mueller. I'm on the Water Commission. I'm going to talk to you real quick about some of the radio health concerns that we looked at on these. So the AMI system, the radio inside or radio attached to the water meter, transmits on a couple of different frequencies. It has an AMI frequency that's primarily transmits on, and it has a backup of an AMR that it doesn't normally transmit on. And I know some people brought up concerns before about this type of frequency that's out there. It's a licensed frequency for the city. It's our own unique frequency for us. It transmits at about 2 watts of power, which isn't necessarily important, other than I would bring that up because your cell phones also operate at a maximum of 2-3 watts. And this thing's in the ground, obviously not near your ears, so obviously the RF frequency concerns are pretty minimal with the AMI system. That's the other thing I want to mention. These frequency transmissions are end-to-end encryption, some pretty strong encryption that is involved with these. It doesn't get decrypted until it's actually inside our systems. For some of the systems that we have, I know there's usually a lot of questions about what data, where's the data, how's the data being stored, how's the data being protected. I don't want to get into I don't want to eat up all Mr. Parsons' time talking about all the infrastructure of the system, but I will say that end-to-end encryption, a lot of things are protected. As you can see there in the words behind me, there's a lot of integrity checks. There's continuous third-party monitoring, artificial intelligence monitoring of any kind of penetrations to the system. Most our data is hosted on either the Google Cloud or Amazon Web Services. It depends on which information it is. All the information belongs to the city. You're not allowed to take any of our information or sell it or give it away to anyone that is out there. The files are also routinely backed up. So if there's any kind of ransomware concerns, we have continuous backup that we can go to and not have to worry about it. Stored and separated, there's actually a separate hard drive that ends up getting stored on a recurring basis. I think that is all the information I was going to bring up from school.
Thank you, sir. Next, we're going to talk about the customer portal, and we're going to bring Josh Bennett to speak about the customer portal.
How's it going? I'm Josh. Talk a little bit about the different technologies that y'all are going to have available to you now to use to be able to get this information instantaneously if you have a leak and see when it started and everything else like that. A lot of good information. So Garden Ridge Company customers will now have online access to all this information. You can go get it whenever you want. You can get it sent to your phone, email, lots of different options there. So not only good for them, but also good for the city as well. Yeah. So, sorry, I can't read this. I think this is just a letter that you sent out, correct? That's going to be given out to everyone, I believe. Yeah, so this is basically what we're starting here is going into the registration information. And so we'll post all this information online, and we're kind of go through how you all will have access to this information and what you'll need to do to get it, and then what all information is available to you after you register. So it's going to start out with just going to getmymeter.info, and what you'll do is you'll go in there and you'll create a profile. And from there, it'll just walk you through the steps of what you need to do to be able to sign up and see your water usage online. There is some additional information, which I believe believe is on the next slide, yep. So you'll go in there, and your main thing that you're going to need is your utility billing account number, which is on all the water bills. So when you go to get your water bill, you'll just look at that piece of information, and then it'll be there. And then you just kind of standard, online login, username, password, and you kind of go through the steps, agree to the terms of service, which you can click on and read, and then you'll register your account. So the next step is going to take you into the portal itself, which is going to have all your information right there so that you know it's your water meter. It'll have everything from your address, your water meter number should be on there as well if you want to go out and check it for whatever reason. And then it'll start to go into the details and the different widgets you can use to show you your water usage. In this screen, it just shows the main line graph that's going to go on a day-by-day basis. But you can also drill all the way in and see hourly usage on how much water you're using per hour, which should be the next slide. Yeah, so you can go into this graph, and what it's really for is going to kind of show you, when something possibly started, where you can, start looking for something. It's a really good tool for people to have. That way you can say, hey, I have a leak. When did it start? Or what did I do something? Maybe, for instance, you mowed the yard that day. It's like, wow, maybe I put the sprinkler head. So it just kind of gives you a good place to start in the city to start to help you out to know where that information is. So the next thing that's also available on here is going to be the weather data that will overlay with that information. And why this is cool is because you can kind of see the forecast coming, and so, hey, maybe I need to turn my sprinkler off because it's going to rain an inch tomorrow, and different things like that. So that way you're not wasting water. You can know where it is, and all this information will be in one location when you go to check it, so that you have it, and it's all available at your fingertips. So now we get into some of the details and notification history. There is a couple different spots in there where you can go in there and you can set up limits for yourself. So what's really cool is you can say, hey, this is what I want my water bill to be. And at the end of the month, I want to be at this projection. And what that will show you is that you don't ever want to go over this amount of water. And if you're trending in that direction, you'll get a notification that says, hey, you're consuming too much water, let's slow down. So it's a great tool to not only know at the end of the month, like, hey, my water bill is too high. Well, now we're giving you a tool to help out. You can, know when it's going to go that direction. And then you'll get notifications. Oh, I'm sorry. Notifications on, when that information is coming to you, as far as email, text, or phone, depending on how it's set up. So you can have yourself send an email, and it will say, hey, you're, using too much water. So there's that next slide. You can go in there and set up all those preferences. Say, I don't want my water usage to be over, 5,000 gallons a month. That way you'll know exactly where you're at throughout the month, and you'll be able to keep an eye over that and use it from your phone or anywhere else that you are, if you have a laptop, computer, or if you do set it up on your phone, because there is a mobile app. So, yes, there we go. That's just one extra step that you can do, but you'll go into your computer, and what we'll do is you will scan a QR code, which I'm going to jump to next. Right there. So that'll be on your computer, and you'll just scan that QR code on your phone, and then it'll automatically bring all that information to the app on your phone, so you can monitor your water from anywhere. If you're out of town, really good tool. A lot of people go in and out a bunch nowadays. And so that way, even if you're on the road or out of town, Thanksgiving, traveling, something happens, you can still be made aware. And you have that information available at your fingertips. So the next slide just goes into more detail on the different graphs and things that are available to you, so you can see that information. And it does have an average monthly usage as well, so you can see monthly, daily, and hourly water usage if you just want to track it at different time intervals as well. I think that's it.
Thank you. So I also want to add something. The customer portal is great, and it gives you power to go out and look at your own stuff, review your own data. But let's say that you didn't have a chance to get to the computer and you might have sprung a leak. Well, we also get notified that you have been gotten a leak or whatever, and we're setting up the protocols of how we're going to go and inform customers of leaks and how we go about addressing all those. But yes, we will get to know the system leaks quickly, and we'll get you notified quickly as well. So that's another thing that some people just don't necessarily want to deal with the customer portal, but we will have more access as a city to be able to serve you. So with that, we'll talk about any questions we may have. So if you have any questions, you can raise your hand or come to the mic. And let's remember social distancing. And if I can't answer it, there's lots of other people here that can help me.
Jacob, Richard Holloway. Does this system, based on usage, forecast the amount of usage you're going to have per billing period? In other words, as you start out in each billing period and you're using water, does it say, okay, based on this amount of usage, you're going to be at such and such a level?
Yeah, so you set your threshold of where you want it to be, and if you say you don't want to go over 10,000 gallons, and you're coming up to that, it'll let you know, correct, Josh?
Yes.
Okay, but what if I don't set any threshold? I just want to know how much, what it looks like I'm going to use in a billing period. Will it project a usage amount for that billing period?
Does it have a monthly forecast?
No.
No, sir, it does not.
All right. Okay.
We'll put that in the suggestion box.
I like it. That's actually great.
Yeah, that is a good idea. Yes, sir.
When did you say the...
Can you, I apologize, we're live streaming. If you come to the mic so everyone can hear you.
When did you say the AMR system came into being here?
Around 2013 and 14.
Okay, so that was like 6 years ago.
Correct.
Are we going to be facing the same meeting in about 6 years from now with another water system? Or have we thought far enough in advance that we're not going to be doing this every 6 years?
What a great question. What's your name, sir?
Rod Apgar.
Nice to meet you. That's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. That's actually one of the things that we looked at. We did not want to have to go through this again as a city and have to put up the costs and have customers put up costs for something like this in the future. So we made a projection and looked. These meters are accurate up to 20 years, and the system we have in place is the newest technology. We do not forecast seeing anything for a minimum of 20 years before we're going to have to make a change. Good question. Great question. Any others? Yes, ma'am.
I don't have a great question. But I'm assuming, excuse me, if you, once this is in place, your readings are instantaneous, not unlike going out and looking at your old-fashioned meter. And so if you assume there's no movement, and you'll be able to tell, it should be just essentially a frozen static chart. And then therefore, you know, if you have like a toilet leak or something like that, that's so minimal, but this would be a way to address it and go track it down?
Correct, yeah, so these meters have an accuracy that's actually the greatest accuracy on the market right now, as far as we could tell. If someone has a great accuracy, I haven't seen it. We've looked at a lot of them. And it'll actually show you the low flow, and it'll keep track. And they're smart meters, so they'll learn like your watering habits. And so if you're watering at certain days of the week or whatever, it'll learn that. And it won't send alarms. But if you have a consistent low flow, it'll start tracking that until it gets to the point where it says, yes, this is a leak, and then it'll notify us.
But you can lose a lot of gallons with, you know, as they say, with a leaky toilet handle or something.
Correct.
So you have to wait?
You will be able to see it instantaneously. As soon as you want to look at your customer portal, you can. The problem with the city looking at everyone at the same time is everyone's going to have different watering usage.
No, I understand that. I meant like if I'm sitting there idly studying my usage after they're implanted and so on and so forth. And I know, to my knowledge, everything is off in the house. but there's still movement. That tells me it might be like a toilet or something I'm not even aware of. Is that correct?
Correct, it will, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We will be notified as well as the customer portal or your customer portal
Right.
will also be notified. And what we can do is you can set your threshold as little or as big as you would like that. We will be notified if it detects a leak, and it could be even small leaks. It'll let us know small leaks. So when this system goes in place and we have customers that do have small leaks that we don't know about, we will be notified, and we will be notifying everyone about those leaks.
But of course, you'd have to have a baseline. I mean, obviously, this isn't going to be instant for any of us. Just have to have a baseline?
I believe it's 24 hours of continual use at a low flow, and then it will notify us. But
Okay.
we're talking about very low flow. If it's
Yeah, I
5
understand.
gallons a
No,
minute,
yeah, I
an
hope it's,
hour.
I think I'd know if it was that. I would hope.
Well, you'd be surprised how many people don't know.
Yeah.
We actually found 2 leaks today on our system that were days old, not weeks or months, and they were right at 30 gallons an hour and 70 gallons an hour.
Wow.
And we notified the customers today.
Sure, great. Okay, and you're in the process of, those of us who have signed up, in the process of installing, or when will the installation start?
The installation for the pilot program
Correct.
has started, and they should be in place. Okay, well, get with me afterwards, we'll make sure that gets in place.
Cat. I'm in the pilot program.
Okay, perfect. We will make sure to get your meter in.
I have her phone number.
Hi. What's the refresh rate? I thought I had read that there was about 4 hours for the refresh rate. Is that
2 hours?
3 hours?
3 hours,
Okay.
right.
All right, so it's not instantaneous, right? I mean, you'll be, if you're looking at something, you're looking at something that's 3 hours old. I mean, it's okay with me, I just wanted to make sure I understood that.
If it's a leak, yes, if it's a leak, it'll automatically notify or send the alert to us and to the customer portal, to the customer on the customer portal. And, but if it's just regular use, then it'll show up.
After 3 hours?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. Yes, ma'am. I like your scarf.
Oh, thank you.
You're very Christmassy.
I'm getting there. Okay, oh, that's right, I am getting there. I've got Christmas socks on. My name is Deb Atgar, and on the portal, on the mobile app, can 2 different people have a login and password?
Great question.
Yeah.
Josh is shaking his head yes.
It's just based on the account information. So
Josh, come up here. Everybody wants to know.
Yes, you'll just download the app, and multiple people, I'm guessing you're talking about multiple people living in the same house? Yes. Then yes, you'll just both log in and download the app onto your phone and just pair it with the same login when you create your login.
Great question, thank you. While we're waiting for other questions, I just want to put a plug out that we have an opening on the Water Commission. So if anyone has thought about or wanted to put some time in, show an interest in what's going on and what we're doing, please put an application in. We'd love to see you. Okay. Yes, sir. Are you going to apply? Is that what you're coming up for?
No. You talked about cybersecurity earlier, and the real topic that you talked about was end-to-end encryption, but cybersecurity is a lot bigger than that. Banks who are heavily encrypted get hacked almost weekly. So what are we doing to protect our cloud services so that we don't get hacked and all of our data is out there?
So what we're doing currently is we're looking into a system where we can be audited by a federal entity that will come and look at our cybersecurity and find out where our weak points are. And that's something that we're looking at doing. And Mr. Mueller, do you have anything you want to add to all that? Mr. Mueller's our cyber guy.
Cyber, I'm not sure really. Yes, sir, I focused on on the encryption. However, the point is the system there's several different layers of security in there. It's not just the encryption. It has all the firewalls installed and everything like that. And it's compliant with all the current security standards that are out there from Department of Homeland Security and the ISO standards that exist. So there are multiple layers in the firewalls and firmware updates and a lot of other things. I actually have the security paperwork with me if you want me to go over in detail about all the stuff that is in.
Thank you. But wait, there's more.
So, I mean, just to go into a little bit more detail, all the facilities are obviously have extremely high-end encryption. They not only, on the cyber end, but they also have physical security. And then we do make sure that we limit the information that's on there. So we didn't go into a whole lot of detail on that, but it's very, very basic information that comes through to our system. We don't need it, we don't want it, and that's like he said earlier, we don't collect that data for any other reason except for this system. So, I mean, really the only thing in there is what you could walk to the front of your house and collect, and that's really it, or is available online anywhere else. So we do have to follow those legal and federal protocols to have that information. So it is a very, very strategic, stringent process that the system has to go through.
Good question. All right, got another taker.
When is the portal ready?
Good question. We were hoping to have a customer portal up by today. The young lady that was going to be putting that together for us or working with us from a third vendor, she's actually on vacation this week. So we were unable to get it up and going. We are hoping that we can get it up next week. Josh, do you have any more timeline? I want to say, so when she comes back next week, we're supposed to be working on it. We've been hammering on this for 2-3 weeks straight, trying to get all the things put in place, and it just didn't get done for today. We were hoping to pull it up and get everyone signed up today, but if you come back December 10th, for sure we'll have it up.
So there's no point in doing anything or looking for anything right now until next week sometime.
Can they sign up without the data? No, okay. Yeah, so next week, we'll send out a flyer, hopefully in the next bill, letting everyone know that it's when it's up and ready to go.
Okay.
Sign up for it.
And we'll be able to use this to pay our water bill?
So there's two things that we're gonna have. You can go straight and direct to that link, or you can come to the city's website where you can go and pay for your bill. Or you can go into the customer portal, so it'll be a split. So you'll either go into the payment or you'll go into the customer portal. But you can do that from our website. Kat, do you have anything else to add? Okay. Come on down.
So if we're already signed up for automatic payment, then we just leave it that way, right?
Correct. Your
Okay.
automatic payment stays the same.
Okay, great. So we don't have to do anything extra?
Yes, ma'am. Great question.
Great, thanks.
Marissa, you got something? Okay, come on.
So I have another not great question, but I'm trying. Okay, so I understand what you said, that you're investigating having an auditor come audit the records and so forth and so on. Will that be a management, a water company fee assessment or cost? Jesse's shaking his head, or will that be a pass-through to the?
It's free.
It's free. And how often will they do that, or do you anticipate?
We're still looking into it. We're
Right.
in the prelims of it. We are going to talk with the city staff, city administration, and make sure that whatever we do and which way we're going, that we're all on the same page and all on board, because it may not be just a water company thing. We may actually do the citywide.
Okay, thank you.
Good question.
Oh, thank you.
You're so funny, too. All right. Some really good questions coming out.
So Jacob, is this going to help the city identify any water loss in the system?
Yes, so one good thing about this system is we can, great question. So one thing that we're able to do is we're gonna take our SCADA system and we'll be able to send data points to the H2O analytics or to the system that's gonna read all the data. And it'll be able to compare not just compare the meter reading or the data of the usage to the pumpage. So whatever we're pumping, whatever we're using, and it can find those ratios, and it'll take into account the water that we currently have in the system and in the tanks and all that stuff. They have some really sophisticated algorithms to figure all that stuff out. But we're really excited to help to find out and narrow down that water loss. Great question. Great question. We also have a timeline. I want to let you guys know when we're going to start the rest of the meter installation. And what we're looking at is we were hoping to start next week, but it looks like we're going to have to start December 7th, and we're going to have a map of, this is our map, our overview map. And this overview map, we're going to have 5 different zones, and they're going to go in the order. So zone 1, which is line, we have the colors on there now. We're gonna when we send out a mailer, we're gonna play with these different colors to see if we can't get it to be really easy to. I have a laser. Ooh. Okay. So we will have our different zones. Red, or lime, yellow, green, orange, and red. Is this our line over here?
On the right, yes.
Okay, so we're going to start in zone 1. So from here and all the way down. This will be zone 1 and zone 2, which is yellow up here. We are going to install those meters starting December 7th. And then we are through the 7th through the 11th, we're planning to get those done. And as soon as our next batch of meters come in, will be zone 3, which is in the green. So everything in here actually goes down, comes around. It's a real sophisticated algorithm we have going there. And then we have orange, will be December 21st through the 31st, this section up here. And then so the big daddy zone, this one right here, the red zone will be last, and that'll be the 21st. Actually, it'll be all this. It'll be this section and that section. December 21st through the 31st is what we're expecting. As we know, we're in this pandemic, and with the constraints that we have with the pandemic, things could change. But that's our best guess right now. I appreciate your patience. I mean, I have been pushing hard to get done before Christmas. It's possible, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So don't get your hopes up. But we're hoping to get everything done by New Year's. If we get it done by New Year's, I mean, that'll be really a feat in of itself also. Any more questions? Ooh, another great question coming.
I don't know about that. You said on one of your slides that you can check watering outside of allotted times. What if you have a drip system? Can you still water outside normal watering hours because it's a drip system?
Yes.
And so will that be flagged if you're watering with a drip system outside allotted times?
We are not flagging anyone's irrigation system at this time. It's not something that we're honing in. We're just going to get used to the system and what's going on. It'll help the customers find out when they are watering and how much they're watering during those periods of time. And it'll be at their fingertips. So our customers are pretty responsible. We want them to be responsible with their water. And so we want them to be able to see and manage their water and use it.
So there won't be a big brother looking at when you're watering?
Correct.
Okay.
We are not going to be big brother watching you and telling you what you can and can't do.
Very good.
So kind of a follow-on to that question. This meter doesn't have the capability to shut your water off and on.
Well, yours, yes, no, I'm just kidding, no. We do not have the capability with these meters to turn them off. That is
Okay.
a new technology that has come out, but it's not something we invested in.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, it's very expensive. That technology is used for if you do have a leak and someone's not home, that they can go ahead and shut that water off or go to a low flow, stuff like that, to remotely do it. So it's a great feature, but with our city, we didn't think that it was the best situation, and the price point was too high. So. All right. Now that we're all feeling comfortable, questions, ladies? No? Okay. All right. Well, I think that is going to conclude our training, and I appreciate. Tell your friends. Get on the customer portal. We're here to talk afterwards too. If you guys have any other questions that you didn't want to stand up and get on the internet for. But yes, feel free to come and talk to us, and we're here for you. All right. Thank you. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
If anybody would like copies of the presentation, because I know it was kind of hard to read, I have some available at this table.
Some of this information is proprietary